Um, Welcome everybody. How are you doing today? I really hope that you are well. I welcome you all, our returning students, and I wanted to speak a little bit about our upcoming day-long intensive. So we all search for peace, you know, in general, right? As the long-standing desire to really be in peace, and moment by moment by moment, we long for peace. There are times, situations, moments where we long for peace. However, what we don't remember in those moments is that suffering is caused by the movement away from our true nature. So instead of looking within, instead of really inquiring into that movement away from our true nature, we oftentimes look at circumstances, situations, other people, or even at our own experience, wanting it to change in some way, wanting it to be different in some way. And in that way, even at times we can find some peace, but that peace is going to be conditional based on the conditions, right? It is this, and that has to be in place for that kind of peace to be here. And so in that way, that peace is not lasting. When we are at rest, everything is at rest. What is really the meaning of that? When we are at rest, everything is at rest. So that means when the mind merges in the heart, even just for a moment, when the sense of I disappears, thought, I, sense of I, one thing, one and the same. When the world disappears also, when the mind merges in the heart, the world disappears as well. And then we experience the peace of our true nature. Peace that is always here, that is everlasting, and that also really includes everything else. So when we are at rest, when we are really at rest in our true nature, everything else is at rest also. So what we need to remember moment by moment by moment is that we can't address suffering in any way that is external. We can't address it by looking into circumstances, situations, or people. We can't address it even by looking into our own experience. How much time, so often, we spend time trying to change and fix and, be different in some way, right? Rather than realizing that we can. It's a very powerful inquiry that we can, moment by moment, just address that movement away from our true nature and come to rest here. It's so beautiful, isn't it? When we know that, when it happens, even just for a moment, so beautiful. So in our upcoming intensive, I will be speaking about the nervous system and its ability to deal with stress, because so much of that has been going on in the past several months. And I will be also speaking about, what we need to know about ourselves, about our own experience, to be able to be here, to be able to practice more effectively. This is very key, know thyself, not just as presence, but also know what really works in a moment. And also, of course, we will be using this very powerful who am I inquiry and coming to rest in which we can see and know that everything is okay just the way it is. And that when we are at rest, everything is at rest as well. I'm very much looking forward to our time together.